So after years of driving petrol and diesel SUVs, today we have an electric SUV, and this is the MG ZS EV. This one has a 44.5 kilowatt hour battery. It has a range of 340 kilometers on a single charge, puts out 143 PS of power and 353 Newton meters of torque. That's a lot of figures, but we're here to drive it and tell you just how it feels to drive electric. The MG ZS EV looks fairly conventional. The headlamps are inspired by the London Eye, apparently. The 17-inch alloys from windmills, and the LED tail lamps from the constellation Sirius. It is larger than the Hyundai Kona Electric in size. So before I start off on a drive, I usually like to check the vehicle, check the engine oil and the coolant and such. But in an electric vehicle, what do you have to check? So this is the motor, and it looks a lot like my home inverter. No, I might, get a shock. We're going to have to relearn everything we've learned about petrol and diesel motors when you see an electric motor like this. The charging port is up front. It takes a CCS Type 2 plug and supports DC fast charging as well as regular AC charging. So the interiors of the MG ZS EV feel just like a conventional SUV. Soft touch materials over here, nice flat bottom steering, and pretty high quality material used everywhere. The only thing that tells me that it's an electric SUV is the dials, which look like your conventional speedometer and tachometer, but this is actually a charge meter. And then to set off, I just have to press this button over here, select drive, and I'm ready to go. It gets 3 drive modes: Eco, Normal and Sport. Now the first thing you notice when you're driving an electric SUV is the lack of sound. All you can hear in this is just a faint hum. And then of course there's the torque. Just watch this. It's in normal mode, but if I just step on the pedal, it takes off like that. It gets even more violent in sport mode, which I can just shift into over here. Now I'm in sport mode. I'm driving around 25 kilometers per hour, and if I just put my foot down, watch what happens. It just takes off like that, and we're already at 100 kilometers an hour. 0 to 100 in 8.5 seconds is what MG claims. The other thing when you're driving an electric vehicle is the regenerative braking. This has 3 levels of regenerative braking, and if I keep it in level 3 with this little curse button over here, I just have to take my foot off the accelerator and it begins to brake. And while it's doing that, it's putting some charge back into the battery. You can actually do single pedal driving in city traffic. You really don't even have to touch the brake pedal. Now, the ZS EV has its battery pack in the floor of the vehicle, which means all the weight is also situated very low down. And what that has done is it has improved the ride and handling tremendously. I mean, you're used to SUVs having a lot of body roll, but this one is very minimal and the ride quality is really good. It comes with an internet-enabled infotainment system that has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. It also gets MG's voice assistant. Hello MG.
I'm here.
Open driver side window.
Okay, window on drive side is open.
So the rear seat of the MG ZS EV feels nice and airy, and that's partly due to this large panoramic sky roof over here, which goes all the way to the back. Of course, only the front portion opens up. And then you have a nice wide 1809 millimeters of width in this car, which means 3 people can sit here fairly comfortably. The only thing is it has a fully flat floor and the battery is down there, so your knees are slightly raised off the floor. But otherwise, like I mentioned earlier, it's got great ride comfort, so comfortable place to be in. So this makes a fairly practical vehicle for even weekend trips because it has a 448 litre boot. As you can see, we've got a lot of camera equipment and luggage, and it's fairly filled to the brim over here. Now, the only reason preventing me from kind of buying an SUV like this, an electric SUV, is the charging infrastructure. But then MG has 5 types of charging that they're setting up. You have the standard 15 amp household plug, you have the DC 50 kilowatt fast charger at the dealerships, and when you buy the SUV, they also put up a 7.4 kilowatt fast charger which can charge your car to 100% in about 7 hours in your house. And then you also have a mobile truck that will come and give you some emergency charge when you need it. Plus, the government is setting up all these fast chargers along the highways. So when that materializes, well, that's a bonus. So that's the MG ZS EV for you. If you like this video, don't forget to share and subscribe to the Quint.